What's up guys, this is VinylicPuma, back with another Fallout video, and today I figure we could take the time to discuss some of the interesting differences between Radscorpions from Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and New Vegas. Now, unlike Mirelurks or Deathclaws, where there is a bit of mystery surrounding these particular creatures' origins, much of the lore surrounding Radscorpions is pretty airtight. After all, there are accounts as far back as the Fallout Bible where Chris Avallone mentions as follows. The Radscorpions are a result of a combination of radiation and the FEV virus, and Raslow and Shady Sands is correct. They were originally Emperor Scorpions that have grown big. While it appears to be unconfirmed by Bethesda whether Radscorpions were the product of FEV exposure or not, Bethesda has confirmed for us that Radscorpions are both the product of radiation exposure and the descendants of Emperor Scorpions. Starting with Fallout 3, the player can find anecdotal evidence that this is the case. Specifically, the player can encounter a terminal entry located at Tenpenny Tower that reads as follows. I've been a lot of places in my day, and everywhere you find those damned Radscorpions. Rumor was they descended from Emperor Scorpions, which you could find in pretty much any pet store in the country when the bombs fell. I guess that explains their population. Fallout 4, on the other hand, provides us with more concrete evidence based on one of the game's loading screens, which reads as follows. Radiation has mutated the common Emperor Scorpion into the deadly Radscorpion, one of the wasteland's fiercest predators. Beware its claws and poisoned stinger. Now, if you're familiar with real-world Emperor Scorpions, you'll know that 1, they aren't especially known for having powerful venom, and in fact, what venom they have is non-lethal to humans, and 2, that Emperor Scorpions typically have a far more docile temperament, thus making them perfect as house pets. However, it would appear that despite these facts, Fallout's Radscorpion managed to mutate and develop a potentially lethal venom and also become far more aggressive thanks to radiation exposure. Or at least, Enclave researchers from Fallout 3 appear to conclude as much, as a part of one of their terminal entries reads as follows. The subject's vesicle has mutated to match its enlarged hypodermic aculeus, and the neurotoxin now acts on the potassium and calcium channels. Captive subject was hostile and should be considered a minor threat, though they could prove a problem in larger numbers. If you're unfamiliar with some of those terms, a vesicle is an alternative word for gland, while the aculeus is referring to the Radscorpion stinger, basically confirming that the Emperor Scorpion's gland likely mutated, producing a more powerful venom. This terminal entry also mentions the hostility of these creatures, and while the Enclave appeared to be less willing to outright confirm that Radscorpions are descended from Pandinus Imperator, or aka Emperor Scorpions, we have Fallout 4's loading screen to basically confirm that for us. So ultimately, I think we can definitively say that Radscorpions are indeed descended from the Emperor Scorpions that the Americans from the pre-war period kept as pets. The only real omission that is notable is that Radscorpions don't appear to glow in the dark like real-world scorpions do. Sure, it's true there is an irradiated glowing version that appears in Fallout 4, however, these variants glow due to their radiation exposure rather than from exposure to ultraviolet light. Emperor Scorpions, along with other scorpions, will actually end up glowing a bluish color when exposed to something like a UV blacklight, which hasn't really appeared in the games up to this point. Now, to be fair, I suppose it's worth mentioning that there hasn't really been any major reason to use a UV blacklight in any of the Fallout games, thus we haven't been able to observe this effect in Radscorpions. So maybe it's possible that Radscorpions would actually glow under UV light, and we just haven't seen it yet because there's never been a UV blacklight implemented in any of the games. Ultimately though, aside from the fact that we can't verify if Radscorpions glow when exposed to UV light, there's not much else to Radscorpion lore. And with that in mind, I'd now like to talk about some of the differences between the Radscorpions that appear in Fallout 3 and New Vegas versus the Radscorpions that appear in Fallout 4. While Radscorpions from Fallout 3 are typically blue in color, Fallout 4's seem to come in almost any color variety. In fact, you may notice that Fallout 4's Radscorpions can even be red, where real-world Emperor Scorpions never appeared in this color, as they are usually either dark blue, brown, black, or some combination of the three. My only guess here is that these could be the descendants of what are known as red claw scorpions, which have the same genus as emperor scorpions when it comes to scientific classification. While red claws don't have totally red bodies like we see in Fallout 4, it is worth mentioning that red claw scorpions are a popular alternative to emperor scorpions as pets, meaning that this could likely be an explanation for the different variety in colors that we see in Fallout 4. Something else that's worth noting is that there doesn't appear to be a size difference in Radscorpions in Fallout 4 as opposed to the previous games. The main difference between something like a regular Radscorpion and a Death Skull Radscorpion in Fallout 4 is its color, where Fallout 3 and New Vegas Radscorpions could come in different sizes. After all, both Fallout 3 and New Vegas allow you to encounter giant scorpions, which are larger than their standard counterparts. And in New Vegas, you can encounter small, giant, and queen variants, which all have improved stats over the last, with the Radscorpion Queen being the strongest Radscorpion in Fallout New Vegas. I suspect a big reason we don't see Radscorpions of various sizes in Fallout 4 has to do more with Fallout 4's overall more streamlined design as opposed to any serious retcons or lore changes. It stinks, but it does seem like it would be easier to design one Radscorpion model and change the color to help indicate stronger versus weaker variants than to design 2 or 3 unique Radscorpion variants which indicate the same thing. Hopefully, we'll see unique Radscorpion variants in Fallout 76, as it would be nice to see giant and queen variants once more. One major difference for Radscorpions in Fallout 4, though, is their ability to dig. Unlike in previous titles, Fallout 4's Radscorpions have the ability to dig underground and potentially ambush opponents during combat. And I suspect Bethesda would have allowed for Radscorpions to dig in like Fallout 3 or New Vegas, though I think this could likely be attributed to the game engine's limitations. After all, Fallout 3's mole rats can't burrow at all, but they can now in Fallout 4. As far as how real this is though, scorpions, including the Emperor Scorpion, actually do dig in real life to create burrows for themselves, and they may potentially ambush prey from their burrow. However, scorpions don't necessarily dig underground like you see in Fallout 4, where they pop out 1 minute and then pop down the next. Then again, maybe it could be possible, given that Radscorpions mutated to have more powerful venom, and they're just far more aggressive overall, that maybe this explains why they're able to do that. Something that's unique to New Vegas when compared to Fallout 3 or Fallout 4's Radscorpions are the introduction of new species. For New Vegas' vanilla game, they decided to include bark scorpions, which are the descendants of Arizona bark scorpions, which are native to the southwestern parts of the United States. New Vegas' bark scorpions even have some unique properties, such as being weaker than Radscorpions, but having the ability to appear in larger groups and have more powerful venom. There's also the delightfully absurd Robo-Scorpions from New Vegas' Old World Blues DLC. Lore-wise, they were designed by Big Mountain researchers before the war. However, they were later refined by Dr. Mobius, who was inspired by the Radscorpions that managed to make their way into the Big Mountain crater. Being robots, Robo-Scorpions are far more resistant to damage, and thus, they are more dangerous as a result. While it's pretty obvious why bark scorpions didn't appear in Fallout 4, it does seem like Robo-Scorpions would have been a little more plausible. At the very least, it might have changed things up somewhat as far as enemy types are concerned, and hopefully we'll see these appear in Fallout 76, or we'll see someone make a mod for Fallout 4 that allows you to encounter them, but we'll just have to wait and see. At the end of the day though, it is pretty cool that Radscorpions basically descended from Emperor Scorpion pets that people purchased in the pre-war period. And as far as the differences between games go, I think I might actually prefer Fallout 3 or New Vegas' interpretation of Radscorpions, simply because there's a lot more variety in the designs. Though, I suppose to give Fallout 4 some credit, I do like the ability for Radscorpions to dig, as it does make encounters with Radscorpions far more intense. Going forward though, I would like to see a new take on Radscorpions for Fallout 76. While there's nothing necessarily wrong with the Radscorpions that appear in Fallout 4, I would like to see the giant, or maybe even the Radscorpion Queen versions of that Fallout 4 version. I guess we'll see what happens, but until then guys, I think that's going to wrap up this particular video. If you liked this video, feel free to leave a like, click the bell so you can be notified when I upload more videos, and as always, take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.